I never imagined that moving into a nursing home would leave me feeling more alone than ever. But the truth that hit me inside these walls still breaks my heart. I want to begin this video by saying something honest. Something many people are afraid to admit out: moving into a nursing home is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make. And for some of us, it becomes one of our biggest regrets. Today, I want to share the 6 hard truths that I wish someone had told me before I packed my belongings, signed my name on that stack of papers, and walked through the doors of a place that promised security, comfort, and peace, but delivered nearly the opposite. This isn't a video meant to shame anyone working in elder care or to discourage families who are doing their best. Instead, it's a voice that often goes unheard, the voice of someone who has lived inside the system, who has felt the loneliness, the loss of independence, the confusion, and the emotional weight that comes with institutional living. If you're considering a nursing home for yourself or for someone you love, this is a message you cannot afford to skip. For the next hour, I'm going to walk you through what really happens behind the smiling brochures and polished lobbies, and why so many residents quietly regret this move even if they never say it out loud. Hard truth #1: you lose more independence than you expect. When I first arrived, I told myself I was ready for help. I thought I understood what it meant to give up a little independence. But nothing prepares you for the moment you realize you're no longer in control of your daily life. It starts with the small things: the time you wake up, when you eat, when you shower, when your medications are handed to you. I quickly learned that nursing homes operate on routines built for efficiency, not individuality. It doesn't matter whether you've been an early bird your entire life or enjoyed sleeping in. Once you're a resident, you follow the facility schedule. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed the first week, waiting for someone to help me get dressed, and realizing for the first time that I was no longer the person deciding how my morning would go. And no matter how kind the staff members are, the system itself forces you to trade autonomy for structure. Over time, that loss weighs on you. You begin to feel more like a patient than a person. You hesitate before asking for help because you don't want to be a burden or part of the chaos of a rushed shift. Every decision feels like it requires permission. That quiet erosion of independence is something no brochure will prepare you for. And it's one of the first reasons many of us regret our decision. Hard truth #the loneliness hits you harder than you think. People assume nursing homes are social places where residents gather to chat, play games, or enjoy activities. But the truth is that loneliness follows you inside those walls like an invisible shadow. You are surrounded by people, yet somehow more isolated than ever. Conversations become shallow not because people don't care, but because many residents struggle with memory, mobility, or health issues that make it difficult to connect deeply. You begin to realize how rare genuine social interaction becomes. Families visit less often than they intend to. Friends from outside eventually fade away because the distance, the guilt, or their own aging gets in the way. Even the staff, who may truly care, don't have the time for meaningful conversation. Their shifts are packed, their responsibilities overwhelming, and their moments with you rushed. I remember staring out of the window after dinner, watching the parking lot empty, and realizing how quiet everything becomes once visiting hours end. Even when you're sitting in a room full of people, you feel alone in ways you never have before. Hard truth #3: staffing shortages affect your daily life. One of the most shocking truths about nursing homes is how understaffed many of them are. You don't see it during the tour, but you feel it every single day once you're living there. Call lights go unanswered for long periods. Meals are rushed. Showers are skipped or delayed because the staff is stretched thin. Medications get delivered late, not because the nurses don't care, but because they simply don't have enough hands to manage everyone at the same time. I quickly learned to measure tasks in terms of staff availability. If the building was short-staffed that day, I knew I'd likely be waiting longer to use the bathroom or get dressed. and waiting becomes a normal part of your day. You wait for meals, you wait for help, you wait for care. You wait for time to pass. There were moments I felt guilty asking for anything because I knew how overwhelmed the staff already was. But when you stop asking for help, you start losing even more independence, and that cycle can lead to depression and decline. A nursing home may promise you quality care, but without enough caregivers, even the most dedicated staff members become burned out, and your quality of life suffers. This is a truth many residents live with daily but rarely talk about because they don't want to create conflict or risk being labeled difficult. Hard truth hash for you lose privacy and personal space. No matter how private your room is, a nursing home is still an institution. People walk in and out throughout the day, nurses checking vitals, aides assisting with care, maintenance workers fixing something, or administrators doing inspections. There is a constant flow of strangers entering your living space, and sometimes they knock, but not always. The privacy you once took for granted simply fades away. If you have a roommate, the lack of privacy is even more challenging. You hear their conversations, their television, their medical issues, their pain, and sometimes even their cries during difficult moments. Your life becomes intertwined with the life of a stranger, and that can feel suffocating. Even personal belongings begin to lose meaning. Things go missing not always intentionally, but because items get moved, cleaned, borrowed, or misplaced. That feeling of ownership slowly disappears, and suddenly it doesn't feel like your home at all. It feels like a place where you sleep, a place where you exist, but not a place where you can be fully yourself. Hard truth #5 Your identity and purpose begin to fade. Before the nursing home, you might have been known as a parent, a worker, a neighbor, a volunteer, or someone who played a meaningful role in your community. But once you become a resident, you often become known primarily for your room number, your medical chart, or your care needs. People stop asking about your hobbies, your passions, your accomplishments. Conversations revolve around medication schedules, blood pressure readings, and dietary restrictions. You feel yourself slipping into a version of life where your purpose is unclear. For some residents, activities help fill the gap, but for many others, they feel superficial or disconnected from who you truly are. Over time, you begin to wonder whether your life still has meaning outside of routine care. That loss of identity is one of the deepest regrets many residents experience, even if they never say it aloud. When you lose your purpose, you begin to lose yourself, and that emotional shift can be more painful than any physical limitation. Hard truth #6 It doesn't always feel like home. Nursing homes try hard to create a warm environment, painted walls, seasonal decorations, friendly slogans, and cozy blankets. But a home is more than furniture and wallpaper. Home is where you feel safe, where you make your own decisions, where you build memories, and where the people around you feel like family. In a nursing home, no matter how long you live there, something always reminds you that you're in an institution. The alarms sounding in the hallways, the medication carts rolling by, the overhead announcements, the scheduled meals, the rules, the routines, the shift changes, it all reinforces the reality that this is not your home. It's a place you live because you need help, and that realization hits hard. You try to decorate your room. You put up photos, you keep familiar belongings nearby, but the feeling of home never fully settles in. Instead, it becomes a place you tolerate, not a place you belong. So after sharing these 6 hard truths, do I regret moving into a nursing home? Yes, but not because I received no care or because every nursing home is terrible. I regret it because I underestimated the emotional and psychological cost of institutional living. I regret not exploring more options: assisted living, home care, family support systems, or community-based programs that could have preserved more of my independence and identity. But most of all, I regret not understanding how deeply this move would impact my sense of self. If you're watching this video because you're considering a nursing home for yourself, someone you love, take this message to heart. Do your research. Ask hard questions, visit repeatedly, observe the staff dynamics, and explore every possible alternative. The decision you make will shape your quality of life in ways you may not fully understand until it's too late. And above all, remember this: you deserve dignity, independence, purpose, and genuine human connection. Whatever path you choose, make sure it supports not just your physical needs, but your emotional and spiritual well-being as well. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these insights help guide you toward a future that truly honors the life you've lived and the person you still are.